Hello again, friends, and welcome into another edition of Wrestling with Rusty right here on YouTube for February 7th, 2024. Welcome in. This is a bad sign for the newly rebranded, old branded TNA Wrestling. TNA Wrestling fires longtime former wrestler and booker and president Scott D-Amore. Scott had been with the company since approximately 2003 as a wrestler and then a manager, and then did the booking and dealt with talent relations, did a little bit of everything. Um, TNA started in June of 2002 under Jerry Jarrett and Jeff Jarrett and a group from Health South um, medical company, and then Health South pulled out, leaving Jerry Jarrett and Jeff Jarrett to find another investor to partner with them. And that's how TNA eventually got Dixie Carter. And you know the rest of that story if you don't look it up online. Dixie Carter was not a good move for TNA. So TNA has had a lot of ups and downs and more bad times than good times, but hopefully they're on the rise. I do think this is a bad, as it relates to Scott D'Amore, this is a bad move for TNA, even if you believe the press release in the sense that they are going to be transitioning a Mr. Anthony Cicerone into that department from Anthem Sports and Entertainment, TNA Wrestling's parent company. And even if Mr. Cicerone is the greatest thing since sliced bread, and I'm not saying he is or not, I don't know him and never heard the name until today. But even if he's the greatest thing since sliced bread and takes TNA to new heights, it's one of those things again that we've seen with WCW and AEW and other promotions where somebody not in wrestling gets involved in wrestling. Dixie Carter, a prime example of that. I just said in the past for TNA. Person not in wrestling gets involved in wrestling, and they may know all the great stuff about TV and distribution and financial backing and all that, which you need all that. But you also need somebody with the experience of the in-ring product and knows how to book the shows, hopefully to do old school professional wrestling. That's why I was going to start watching TNA again, because that's what they claimed to be, was going back to traditional roots. I don't know now if with Scott D'Amore not being there, I don't know if that's going to change or not. Only time will tell. And I'm not saying that they've changed back to that. I'm just saying that's what they claimed they were going to change back to once Impact Wrestling rebranded back to its old name of TNA Wrestling, which it did this January. And then firing Scott D'Amore in February is not a good, firing Scott D'Amore anytime is not a good sign, but especially only 2 months after you rebranded as TNA Wrestling. And just weeks ago, Scott D'Amore was on a pay-per-view saying TNA Wrestling's back and we're back to stay. And I'm sure he didn't know at that point when he said that tagline in the middle of a ring on a promo that he wouldn't be around come February. No other information has been provided as to why he was fired. But again, I think it's a bad move. Hopefully I'm wrong. But usually when people who are not in wrestling fire the people who are in wrestling and replace them with people that are not in wrestling, most of the time that does not end well. So only time will tell whether this ends well or not. I suspect that it will not. Hopefully I'm wrong. But history says that these things don't end well. So we'll just have to wait and see what goes on and where TNA Wrestling goes from here. It looked like with their brand new marketing and their brand new belts, the only thing they need is a better TV network. But that's another story for another day. Repeating, TNA Wrestling fires Scott D-Amore. We'll keep you posted with this or anything else that breaks in wrestling right here on Wrestling with Rusty on YouTube. And until we meet again, my friends, please remember my friend Don Kernodle, Abe Jacobs, and the legendary Ivan Koloff. All of them former professional wrestlers. Don Kernodle passed away of suicide in 2017. No, I'm wrong. Ivan Koloff passed away from liver issues in 2017. Don Kernodle passed away in 2021 of suicide. And Abe Jacobs passed away in 2023 at the age of 95. Remember, suicide is a temporary answer to a permanent problem, or a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Someone once told me, sorry, I messed that up. I'm messing up a lot today. Sorry for all of you that may see this either now or in the future. Please forgive me. But remember, suicide is never the answer. If you don't get help from someone you trust, get help from anywhere, or call the National Suicide Prevention Hotline at 1-800-273-TALK. They're open 24 hours a day. They never close. And if you got any questions, comments, or concerns on this video or any videos on this channel, past, present, or future, most of it is about pro wrestling, but not all of it. There's some sports stuff on here and some other stuff, just things about life. So anyway, you can reach me at 724-826-0449 by phone or rusty.loudermilk@yahoo.com. Until we meet again, my friends, God bless. And as the voice of Ring of Honor, Ian Riccaboni would say, happy wrestling, everybody.